Minasan konnichiwa. Hey everybody, how's your day going? Today, we're going to be talking about the progressive present tense in Japanese. That's just a fancy way of being able to say what you do versus what you're doing at this very moment. This grammar point is a little bit more advanced, but I did have a watcher request a video on this topic, so I decided to go ahead and try to make a beginner version for everyone who's learning Japanese with me. So let's go ahead and take a look. Now, to form the present progressive tense in Japanese, we need something called a te form. Basically, it's what it sounds like. You're going to take any verb and you're going to change the ending to be te. So let's take a look at an example of a verb in the te form using a verb that we've talked about in an earlier video, the verb for to eat, which is tabemasu. That verb is going to become tabete. So do you see what the difference is? You take off the mas and you add te. Now this isn't going to be true for every verb and they're not always going to work this way, but for today's video we're going to keep it simple and just use verbs that change like this. Here are a couple more verbs with their te forms next to them. We have benkyou shimasu, benkyou shite, mimasu, mite, nemasu, nete. You can see the translations for those words below. And you'll notice that changing the verb to te form alone, that doesn't really have an effect on the verb itself. You still need to add something else to change the meaning of the verb. So how should you go about learning the te forms of different verbs? Well, the good news is there are two main kinds of verbs, and they're going to change into te form in specific patterns. So you can learn them in groups, you can learn them from context, which I think is really useful. So if you see a verb that you want to know how to use, you can look for it or listen for it in writing or in audio, or you can use a dictionary like jisho.org, where you can search for a verb that you want to know how to say, and then you're going to be able to click on a button that says show inflections, which is basically the different forms of the verb in different tenses, whether that's present, past, etc. And then there's going to be an entry called te form, so you can see the exact te form for the verb that you want to use on that page. Like I said, te form might be a little bit more advanced, but if you're interested in it, you can go ahead and leave me a comment in the section below and let me know, do you want to learn more about te form and its usages? Okay, now that we've talked a bit about the te forms of verbs, we need to add one more part to make it actually into the present progressive. What we add is the verb imasu. So let's see how the verb really changes when we add imasu. Tabemasu becomes tabeteimasu. I eat becomes I am eating. Benkyou shimasu becomes benkyou shiteimasu. So I study becomes I am studying. Mimasu becomes miteimasu. I watch becomes I am watching. And nemasu becomes neteimasu. So I sleep becomes I am sleeping. A lot of the time, you'll be using the present progressive in Japanese, similar to how you use it in English, especially when you're talking about what you're doing at that current moment. Now, of course, we need to be able to say that you are or are not doing something, and you might want to be able to distinguish between the present and past tense. So here we can see the different endings that you'll add on to a verb's te form to say the different tenses. For example, imasu, imasen. So I am doing something or I am not doing something. Imashita, imasen deshita. I was doing something or I wasn't doing something. So now that we've gone over a couple of the verbs that we've reviewed before, and we've gone over the endings, try to think about what these phrases here might mean. I'll read them for you, then you can pause the video for a second and try to think them over. So we have neteimasu, benkyou shiteimasen, miteimashita, tabeteimasen deshita. So go ahead and pause the video, write down what you think these mean, and then when you're ready, unpause it, and we'll go over the answers. Alright, we have the answers for you right here. So again, you can pause it for a second, compare what you had written to what you see here, and see how you did. Alright everybody, thanks for making it this far in the video. You've made it to the end of the lesson. Remember to subscribe if you haven't already. Press the bell notification button so you can stay up to date with new Japanese lessons every week. Give the video a like if you enjoyed it. Share it with others who also want to learn Japanese. And leave me a comment below. What do you want to learn in Japanese? Let me know. What are you curious about? And we can go over it in a lesson in the future. I'm going to put up another video or two right over here, so if you've got time, you can click on one of those. It should be entertaining and or informative. If you've missed any of the lessons or you want to learn more Japanese with me right now, you can go ahead and check the description box of this video below, click show more, and then you can see a link to the playlist of all my Japanese instructional videos. Alright, that's about it for now. So again, thanks for watching. Arigatou. And I'll see you in the next video.